A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. So you wanna be a rock and roll star? Then listen now to what I say. Just get yourself a lot of takes and take some time. Learn the smooth way. And when you're seeing some bright and your pants are tight, it's gonna be alright. Then it's time to go downtown to Market Man. I won't let you down. Sell your soul to the healthy life with a waiting man like an Amsterdam. And you'll be some legend in a couple of weeks to go to your heart. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, 20th70. This is Trace Perot. This is video number 15. Today is April 16th, a Saturday, I believe. Losing track of time. And today I'm going to talk about, after that great video you just saw, I'm going to talk about how to be a rock and roll star. R-A-W-K and roll star. In order to do that, you have to stay in shape. You know, you have to be fit. You have to be athletic, physical. And so for the last 10 years I've been doing an exercise consistently called heavy hands. And by the way, I'm here in my work hut out in Kona, Hawaii, and I'm preparing some dinner. I just got off work. I raced up to the store, bought some things that I needed, and now I'm back and I'm just preparing a nice big salad. So you get two birds with one stone in this video. Not that I would want to kill two birds with one stone, or any birds with any stone. So anyways, I'll explain the food thing as I go along. Right now I'm just cutting up some romaine lettuce that came in a plastic bag. It's kind of convenient for the situation because then, you know, in Hawaii you have to be very meticulous about any kind of green grown in Hawaii. You have to actually, if you're going to eat lettuce that's grown in a garden anywhere on the Big Island, you have to take each and every single leaf of lettuce and wash it down on both sides and examine it. And the reason why you have to do that is because we have something called ratlung worm, or just plain old ratlung. And that is a very serious illness that you totally want to avoid. And it's a parasitic infection that goes into your brain, and it comes from slugs, and slugs like to eat greens grown outside. So you have to be very careful with any greens grown outside in Hawaii. The slug feeds on the feces of rats, and the parasite originates with the rats. The whole disease actually originated from the area that I live in specifically, which is Puna. Actually, right down to Papaya Farms Road, we can identify where it came from. It came from Southeast Asia, was imported with some kind of orchids to an orchid farm on Papaya Farms Road, and it has spread out from there. So anyways, it's a very serious illness. I've personally known people who have gotten it. We're talking, 4 or 5 months in the hospital. We're talking spinal taps. We're talking every imaginable symptom, paralysis, and I mean, it's crazy. So you have to be very careful. A lot of times I just elect to eat packaged greens from the mainland, like in this case, because it is such a serious illness. Anyways, that being said, I'm filling my bowl up with romaine lettuce. I think I'll add a little bit more. And while I'm doing that, I'll start talking about this phenomenal exercise called heavy hands, which I discovered 10 years ago. First, I'll show you the book. This is the book. Okay, a guy by the name of Leonard Schwartz. Leonard Schwartz had multiple medical degrees. He was a psychiatrist and an MD and an exercise, like an exercise, like an MA or something in exercise. And Mr. Schwartz did a lot of research. He had access to a lot of research facilities and all this, and he discovered that when you drive your cardio with your arms as opposed to just your legs, it's tremendously better for it's a tremendously better conditioning exercise, gets way better results than any other exercise, and it's tremendously better for your heart. So let me just reflect on the reasons why I do it. I do it because it increases my oxygen uptake. So for every breath I take, right, every breath you take, it increases your oxygen uptake up to who knows what level, at least 50%. So we're talking, if you're in shape with this exercise and you take a breath, you're getting 50% more oxygen than even a marathon runner. Okay, you can run marathons 3 times a week. You're going to plateau and you're going to be way below that kind of oxygen intake, right? And that's because you're not driving your cardio with your upper body, with your arms and your upper body. So that is the main reason why I do this exercise, because with that kind of oxygen uptake, every other thing that I do physically is easy, right? Because I'm getting twice as much oxygen for every breath. And what you need to put out physical energy in any form, working on the farm, working in the garden, walking to the store, doing a marathon, ride your bike, playing tennis, going surfing, skateboarding, all that stuff, what you need is you need glucose and you need oxygen. All right? So Mr. Schwartz did a whole bunch of experiments and he developed this exercise, and like many things in our culture, in our human world, he discovered all these fantastic things about this exercise. He published a book, and it was popular for about 3 weeks. Kind of like Fit for Life, and then it just went off the radar, right? So to this day, I have never seen another individual except my one-time partner do this exercise. Okay. It's just completely unknown. And it's completely unknown by people who should know about it, okay? Including people like Dr. Doug Graham, right? So, that's why I want to share this with you, because I do know about it. I have 10 years experience with it. And I'm telling you right now, unequivocally, I can go out and do any kind of exercise right now. And it's easy, intense exercise. And it's easy. In most cases, I won't even get winded. surfing, riding a bike, jogging, whatever, right? So that's the primary reason why I do this. As I learned from the book, it also is very, very good for your heart because it lowers your resting heart rate. And I don't exactly remember what that does for your heart, but it has something to do with either resting the heart for longer periods, or somehow, some nutrients or blood or something stay in the heart longer if you have a lower resting heart rate. I'll have to clear that up, and I'll make a note in the next video, or do an attachment to this video after I research it a little bit. So it's very good for the heart. It's also a multi-muscle exercise. So instead of jogging, which you're not really using your hands and your upper body, you're swinging a little bit, and I go into this in the actual demo. You're exercising everything in your upper body, your chest muscles, your shoulders, your obliques, your arms, your forearms, and all this kind of stuff, And at the same time, you're driving your cardio exercise by your arms. Another reason why I do this exercise is because it's very easy on your joints. Okay, walking is one of the easiest things you can do on your joints, right? Jogging is probably one of the worst things you can do. Well, you need to give up jogging. No, not really. I find that running barefoot or running in Vibrams when you jog is very easy on the joints, much easier than when you use running shoes, which have definitely been proven to cause injury. There's a whole book about that, actually. I forget the name of it, but it delves into the Tarahumara Indians in Mexico, Copper Canyon in Mexico, and how they run in sandals, a very hard, not cushioned type of shoe. And apparently your feet are designed to handle that impact. All right. If you start putting pillows under your feet, like, Nike Airs and all this kind of stuff, you're asking for trouble, because it's going to tear your joints up, it's going to injure your ligaments and all this other kind of stuff, which is the opposite of what you think would be the reality. Okay. Did I mention I'm in my work hut? Maybe I can't remember if I did or not. So I'm out working in Kona, and this is the hut I stay in, which is the hut that all the other 24 homeless people or emergency shelter people stay in. So I stay in here when I'm working here. At any rate, there's several reasons why I do this exercise. I think I covered them all. It's just amazing to be able to go out and do any other kind of physical activity and have it be very significantly easier than if I wasn't doing this exercise. I also do it, besides the joint thing, it's great to go walking. Walking is one of the most meditative, pleasant, calming exercises that you can do. And even with the heavy hands, which tends to make it more intense, you still get to enjoy the outdoors and the scenery and all this stuff. Now, the thing about heavy hands is that the lower the weight, the more the cardio. The higher the weight, the more you're building muscle, right? So you can still build muscle without having to be stuck in a stuffy old gym, with a whole bunch of other people. And I personally don't really care for gymnasiums, which is one of the reasons I don't have bulging muscles, right? But I am right now currently looking for some kind of weight machine that I can just put in undercover, on the farm. And so I can work out in the lovely fresh air. So the whole walking thing is great, And, like my mother lived to be 93 years old. She walked almost every day of her life for the last, 30 years of her life until she broke her hip. And really I think that was the reason why she lived to be 93, right? But she did not do this exercise. So you can imagine the effects of walking when you're doing this kind of cardio workout, right? Anyways, I'll reflect on that some more. I want to show you what I'm doing here. I got my lettuce. I just took some tahini. This is raw organic tahini. Put it in here with some lime juice and diluted it with water a little bit, right? That's going to be my salad dressing. That is my salad dressing of choice. And then I'm taking these nice big Hamakua Coast mushrooms and I'm dipping them in there and eating them. And believe me, it's out of this world. But even better than the mushrooms, cucumbers, sliced cucumbers. I've sliced up my cucumbers. And I also have a lovely orange here. I usually eat fruit, citrus fruit, especially, or apples or anything, before dinner. Because they're so refreshing. And then almost invariably after dinner I eat some more fruit. There's just something about it. It's just really refreshing, especially subacid or acid fruit. So that's the story on the dinner. So right now I can pour most of this over my salad. And then I'm going really simple. I'm not doing elaborate stuff tonight. It's kind of difficult because I'm working on a table. I'm not in a kitchen. So I'm going to shred some beets and cut up some tomatoes and some green onions, put them in the salad. Okay? And that'll be it. That'll be my salad for the evening. Incredibly satisfying. I wouldn't trade it for anything except maybe one of the great dishes that I've made with other ingredients. So yeah, it's totally satisfying. I eat this maybe 5 nights a week, and I wouldn't trade it for the world, to tell you the truth. Got these big old mushrooms. So, getting back to the heavy hands thing. So I do this like 3 times a week. I try to get it at least 3 times a week, from anywhere from a half an hour to an hour. I might go 3 miles, I might go 6 miles, or 5 miles. That keeps me in great shape. So I highly recommend it. And it's kind of funny because you don't see anybody else doing this exercise. And a lot of people will look at this and they go, I'm not doing that, right? Because it's, you can perceive it as looking kind of ridiculous. You're walking down the street and you're going like this and you're going like this, right? But I'll tell you right now, most people that see me doing this, who comment, as they drive by or as I walk by them somewhere, the comments are positive. There's been a couple of times, like when I was I was living, actually I was staying in a kind of a ghetto area in Maryland while I was doing a sales work. I used to go out in the morning and I would run into these kids, that were on their way to school, and they would laugh and they'd call me names, and all this kind of stuff because they thought it looked so ridiculous. But it's well worth the potential for ridicule. That's never happened in Hawaii. So, did want to make that point. Don't feel stupid doing it, because it's so good for you. And there was a time, right, when this book came out that it actually got a little bit popular. So you did see people doing it. But the book was published in 1989, I believe. And so he really gets into it. I mean, it's a whole book. It's like 200 pages. Gets into totally analyzing, how this exercise has that effect on you. what the benefits are and all that sort of thing, and cites a lot of his own research and tests that he conducted on people and stuff like this. So, and I just flat out have found it to be the most amazing exercise. It's totally unknown. People seeing you in the street doing this, they're not going to imitate you. And you can also do it in your home. You can do it in your home. Standing in place, actually. You can just do it as a dance. You can do it as an aerobic exercise in a studio. Or you can just go out and walk. So anyways, that's what I wanted to bring up during this video. The rest of the video I'm going to concentrate on just making this salad. I think I have some beets in here. I do have some lovely beets. I've got one left, and I have all these nice beet greens that I put into smoothies, which give you the most amazing flavor. There's nothing like beet greens in a smoothie. They really give you a fantastic flavor. So I'm just going to grate, in a cheese grater, I'm going to grate this beet right over the salad. And it's kind of a workout. Beets are not the easiest thing to grate, not like cheese. They're tremendously good for you. Also, while I'm doing this, I wanted to make some corrections on the last video I did. That was video number, 14, I think. This is video number 15. 14 was the video I did on organic versus non-organic. And the one symptom that's very significant that I forgot to mention was canker sores. And I just got one about a month ago, and it was nasty. I mean, it hurt. And I traced it back to some inorganic sun-dried tomatoes. So I go to the health food store and I always pick up organic sun-dried tomatoes. They're, on the label it says organic. And then they disappeared for like 3 or 4 months, I guess, because of a supply thing having to do with, COVID or whatever. And they disappeared, and when I saw them back in the health food store, I just went, oh, sun-dried tomatoes, my beloved sun-dried tomatoes, and I grabbed them and I went home and I ate a bunch of them. Kept eating them for a few days. Sure enough, a week or two later, I get this nasty canker sore on my tongue. And this has happened to me before, several times, when I've had canker sores directly related to something that I ate that wasn't organic, right? Especially with citrus. So limes are a big culprit. If you eat inorganic limes, more than likely you're going to get a canker sore. So, all these years when you thought canker sores were some weird thing that didn't have a cause or something, it's very likely that they were caused by eating some food that had some chemical in it that your body reacted to in that manner. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that along with all the other symptoms I've gotten. So yeah, I'm shredding the beets. Isn't that nice looking? Shredding the beets in there. I put the dressing in there, so I'm tossing it. Okay. Now, I'm going to put some green onions in. Somewhere. Yeah, here we go. I've got some green onions here. And notice, see the white part of the onion? I'm cutting that off and it's going in the compost. They're way white. The white part of onions, or a regular white onion, is way too stimulating. And in addition, it makes you stink when you sweat. So I just use the greens of the onions. And that's one of the things about 80-10-10 is that you don't want to overstimulate your digestive system. You don't want to load it up with all these spices and herbs and blah, blah, blah. I mean, a few are okay, if you're making salsa or whatever. A few herbs don't hurt, a few spices don't hurt. But you definitely want to minimize that as much as possible. So I'm mixing the onions in. All right. Next thing I'm going to do is grab some tomatoes. I eat tons of tomatoes. I know there's controversy. You hear people talk about, deadly nightshade and tomatoes are the source of my ailments, and my doctor says that I should cut out nightshade. Of course, it's all ridiculous, has nothing to do with tomatoes. Or, if you're on a standard American diet and you're abusing yourself, maybe tomatoes do spark something. But of course that's because you're mixing them with all this other cooked food, and acidic food, and food that does no benefit to you at all. So anyways, I eat lots and lots of tomatoes. And so I'm putting a couple in here. And the nice thing about Kona, the coastline of Kona, well, it's not nice, but it's different, is that there's no coqui frogs here. So they're not drowning me out like they do at home. Okay, so I got my tomatoes in there. So that salad's looking pretty good right now. And the last thing I'm going to do is I am going to take flaxseed, which I ground up in a coffee grinder, and I'm going to put that all over the top of the salad. Not only is this the highest source of omega-3s on the planet, it's also very, very good in salads. So far in terms of fat, I've used 2 tablespoons of flaxseed, and I've used a couple of forkfuls of tahini, and that's all the fat that I'll have the entire day in terms of, I'm not sure what you would call it, in terms of overt fats or something, because there's fat in vegetables, there's fat in fruit, and I think the calculation is that about 75, you get, just by eating a big salad, you get 7% of your diet in fat, right? And the fruits and whatnot. And so what I just ate, probably knocks it up a couple of points, maybe to 9% or something like that. So, I'm within that 10% range, which we all know, or we should know by now. If you go over that 10% range, the glucose stays in your blood, can't get into your body's cells, into the muscles, and therefore drains your energy and puts an extra heavy load on your pancreas to produce insulin and all these other things. So if you're on a high fat raw diet, you're doing your body a lot of damage. You're not having very good energy, so you got to learn how to keep your fat level now. Anyways, so that's about all I have. There are some great little videos on YouTube about the heavy hands exercise. Not enough, but they are instructive. And of course, I would highly recommend trying to find the book. It's called The Heavy Hands Walking Book. Okay, published in, let's check it out. I can't really read. Copyright 1989. Okay. Leonard Schwartz, right? Totally thorough analysis of this exercise that he invented. And believe me, if you want to be a rock and roll star, that's the way to go. You got to stay in shape. There's a lot of things that I notice about people who are actually 80-10-10. Like, for instance, one of the things I noticed early on when I was jogging was that it makes your hair fall out, right? So whenever I jog, I do at least 10 minutes, a 10-minute headstand after jogging. Apparently what happens is the blood pools in your legs, right? If you're doing a heavy cardio leg exercise, the blood will pool in your legs like jogging. This draws it away from the capillaries in your brain. It draws it away from the hair follicles, and it has a direct effect, right? So if you look at Doug Graham, who's exactly the same age as I am, I think, maybe he's 1 year younger, you'll notice that he doesn't have any hair. Doug Graham is a big, jogger, which I'm not saying anything negative about that. I'm just saying this is one of the interesting little things that I've picked up along the way. And, so I wanted to, elucidate that point. There's lots of little things like that don't seem to be obvious in the raw vegan community. And that is definitely one of them. Heavy hands is another one. And I find these tremendously, this exercise tremendously beneficial. Anyways, that's it for now. So I'm starting my exercise adventure with this leaf that I'm levitating. Now, it's hanging on a spider web. It's spider season in Pune, which means that everywhere you go in the jungle, you run into spider webs. By this time, most of the spiders they appear to be perished. Because they're little balls, and they could be dead. Well, yeah, they're perished, or they could be hibernating. I'm not really sure. This particular spider that hangs out and puts webs on everything is a gorgeous spider. It's got a beautiful gold diamond belly, and it's really stunning. So here is a full mature breadfruit tree. Right now it's not putting out breadfruit, it's not the season. Anyway, so I'm walking down to the road, and this is, this is part of my life as a raw vegan in Hawaii. Look at these, what do they call that? That's jasmine, I believe. Beautiful jasmine flowers. They smell incredible. I think they're night blooming, or they're not night blooming, but they smell really good at night. This big plant with these huge leaves, which are almost as tall as a person, is Pele's breath, they call it. So we have a nice little flower there. So I'm walking down to the road. I live on the back of the property. Very extremely private area, no neighbors. Very little in the way of almost no human sounds at all. These are beautiful, like an orchid-like flower. Gorgeous, huh? And so here we are down in the barn area. We got some construction going on here. Way out there through the bamboo, there's the ocean. Here's the nursery. I'll take you on a little divergent path here. Got to be quiet because the dogs will wake up. Here's our latest outdoor latrine. Oh, dogs are up. Hey Pooch, hey Pooch. So, approaching the front gate. And we'll be out on the road in 1 minute. I think it's about 6 o'clock right now, 6 o'clock in the morning. I got to bed at, oop, there's a spider. Got to bed at 1 o'clock. I woke up bright and early right at the, so here's our fruit stand. There's not too much out there right now. Just some bananas, but usually we put out fruit. This isn't exactly the time of year, we're kind of between harvests. Here's the bananas along the road. There's the road into town. Here's the road towards the lava. So here we are. Voila. So what I'm going to do is do some stretches real quick. I'm going to do them fast because there's no reason, usually you hold them 30 seconds to a minute, but I just want to do this for a demonstration. So the first thing I do is I squat down like this, my arms between my knees, and that stretches the lower back. Okay. All right. Second thing I do is start on the calves, or I'm sorry, the ankles and the calves. Yeah. So you go straight out and bend. You hold these. Keep in mind you hold this for about 30 seconds. Then you twist. All right. And you do it on this side. Straight calf. Bend your knees. Stretches the foot and the ankle. Twist. Okay. That gives you hip twist and thigh twist and lower back. And it stretches all of that. Then carrying on with the legs, I'll do, the thigh stretch, go into the yoga pose, yoga thigh stretch. So I'll do it sideways so you can see that. So this is a very good thigh stretch. It's good for your balance. Straighten the standing leg, pointing straight ahead. So this gets the thighs loosened up. Then I'm going to do some more radical hamstrings. So we go up on the gate, go forward. Deep breathing. This is where you really start to breathe. Stretch over. This stretches your obliques as well as your hamstrings and your feet too. You're pulling back. That stretches the hamstrings a little bit. We'll do both sides. Forward, straighten the back leg, turn around, and over to the side. That's a bit like a ballet stretch. Okay, so now I'm going to do going to go down, do a yoga stretch. Look forward. I'm going to spread my legs like so. I'm going to go down, pull on my ankles, go to one side, and turn the torso so it's parallel with the knees and the shin. Go to the other side, same thing. Stretching the lower back and all through the legs. Go forward. You want to come up like this, especially if you have any back problems. Then we'll go forward on a knee bend. Okay. Hopefully this is still in the camera. We'll go forward on a knee bend. We'll go forward on a hamstring and calf. Well, it's mostly hamstring, inner hamstring, like this. Go over to this side, inner hamstring on the left leg. Okay. And then we're going to go to the right knee, bending. And we're going to come up. We're going to straighten out both legs and put the head down to the knee and feel that stretch all the way from the glutes all the way into the hamstrings. Once again, both sides. You're going to feel that in the glute of the left leg and the hamstring and the calf. And turn forward, come up, straighten out. We're going to do some side bends for the, what do they call those? Obliques, you know, gets into the oblique areas, these side muscles right here. Okay. You know, if you want to get a little bit more radical about it, you can actually do some yoga poses. You know, these are all great for avoiding injury. Okay, like I just did. Anyways, that's usually my stretch routine right there. It's not something real elaborate. Stretching can get a lot more elaborate than that, of course. A patch along the frontage road. Unfortunately, usually the bananas get ripped off, but here's a, you know, by passersby, but there's a nice, it's not quite ready. See how angular they are? It's not quite ready to harvest, but somebody's probably going to pick that off. There's the ocean out there, so we're like no more than 100 yards from the ocean. And this is the road that I do my exercise on. So, just wanted to show you one of the innovative ways to announce your address on the red road. Looks like they got some prayer flags up there on the driveway. So here I am at the Hilo bus station. I'm waiting to get on the bus to go to Kona. There's the bus, one of the buses. There's my bike and my packs. And there's the ocean on the other side of the palm trees. There's the little town of Hilo. All the shops built in the late 1800s. There's Abundant Life Natural Foods. And yeah, so I'm about to get on the bus. Just thought I'd show you what it's like making the transfer. So here we are, the Kona coast. I just pedaled out from my work. It's about 7:45 in the morning. Just got up, went to bed about 1 o'clock, 1:30 a.m. And now I'm out on the Kona coast. So it's a beautiful day in Kona. It's a little bit cloudy, which is kind of unusual, but it did rain last night. Somebody has made an offering here, which you see actually kind of frequently in Hawaii. So yeah, this is the Kona coast. So what I wanted to do is demonstrate some of the moves that you do. Basically, you're just walking like this, okay? Just pulling your hands up to your waistline is called zone 1, okay? So if you want to go to zone 2, you go up more like the shoulder level. This increases the intensity of the exercise, okay? So zone 3 is up here closer to the ears. You're walking along, zone 3. Okay, now I'm starting to feel it a little bit because I'm not really going at that heavy a pace, that fast a pace. Zone 4 is way up at the top. So you're walking along, you're swaying from one side to the next. Needless to say, this can get pretty rigorous. So anyways, that's when I go out walking, the going out portion of the walk is I'm always doing these arm swings. So if any particular day I'm going to say go out 1.5 miles, 2 miles, I'll do the whole thing swinging these arms in various zones. Okay, getting various degrees of cardio workout and multi-muscle workout. You're getting all of your leg muscles, your hip muscles, plus your arms, plus your abdominals, plus your chest, plus your shoulders. Okay, so it's called a multi-muscular exercise, which makes it distinct from all other exercises that you do, except perhaps from swimming. Anyways, first thing then after that, when I start coming back, is I do butterflies. So you're walking along doing butterflies. Okay. Take 2 or take 3, I think. So after the butterfly, I usually go to what I call crossovers, which are 1 up, 2 up, 3 up, 4. So this is pretty rigorous. If you're going along for a while doing this, you're starting to get winded, you can double cross. That brings the intensity level down. Double cross. Okay. But I try to stay single cross as much as possible. So this is working different parts of your arms, shoulders, abdomen, a little bit in the abdomen, chest, peripheral muscles. Okay, then I go into the punches. Punches are very rigorous. So what you can do with these other things, crossovers and butterflies and stuff, well, punches are like twice as vigorous, twice as intense as that. So what you want to do is you always punch out and you snap. That snap is really important because that keeps the intensity up. So I'm already starting to feel myself breathe a little faster. When you go up and down hills, it gets even more intense. Okay. So those are 3 basic exercises that I do, plus this one, a 4th one, which is just walking, walking and moving your arms around like this. Once again, it works different muscles in different arms. Like this, you can go like this. So you're walking along, you can do all that kind of stuff. Woo! It's starting to get warm. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. It's already about 75 degrees. Beautiful day. Rained last night. Everything's kind of, got a nice cleaning last night. Anyway, so The other thing you can do, like if it's raining, you can do all this standing in place, walking in place inside your house. Okay? So if it's raining, or it's just an inclement day, or it's nighttime, you don't want to go out, you know. Anyways, one of the things you can do, you got your music on your arm, you either got an iPad or they don't even make iPods anymore, an iWatch or an iPhone or something that with your headphones. You can just put on some great music and dance for a while. You know, you can do anything you want. You do your moves, do your aerobic moves, kick. Do that sidestep thing they do, 1, 2, 3, kick. You know, you can get the music going. There are some actually specific dance routines that you can do that are on video. If you Google on YouTube and you Google heavy hands, you know. So all this stuff is great for the cardio. The one thing you can do additionally you can do for your legs, which are squats. So you squat, basically you go up and then you squat. You go up and you're taking steps forward. Squat. Go up. Squat. Squat. Up. Squat. Okay. So those are the basic forms of exercise that I do. There are other variations. You can invent things yourself. So there's a lot of things you can do with this. Can't resist showing you all the tide pools. The tide's way out. So we got all the tide pools. So I'm gonna go do another 20 to 30 minutes of this today. And on the beach here, barefoot. Like I say, you can do it in your house, you can do it anywhere. I prefer to do it in Vibrams. They're just easier on the legs, but you know, the main point about this whole exercise, like I'm going to elucidate or have elucidated in the previous section, is it builds your lung capacity like no other exercise. There's no other exercise that builds your lung capacity like this, because you're doing multiple muscle workout. You're driving the cardio with your arms. And for some reason, and he gets into this in the book, Leonard Schwartz, the guy who invented this. The book was published in 1989. For some reason, that driving your cardio with your arms just is incredibly good for the heart. It lowers your resting heart rate. It increases your oxygen uptake. And this will keep on improving as you do this. Every other exercise, you plateau. All other exercises, you plateau. And you don't go beyond it. But this will keep increasing your lung capacity. And what that does is it makes everything else much easier. So any other physical activity you go to, whether or not it's working in the yard, working on the farm, doing any kind of physical activity at all, jogging, swimming, bike riding, any of that stuff, all becomes amazingly easy. And I go through long periods where this is the only exercise I do. I don't do anything else. And then when I want to do something like go surfing, I know that I'm fit and I can go out and it's totally easy. I barely even get winded. And that goes for bike riding and jogging and tennis and everything else. Anyway, so that's it from the lovely Kona coast on a Friday morning. Today is the 8th of April. So things are warming up over here in Kona. Just about a 30, 35, 40 minute session out here on the Kona coast. And so people are starting to show up at the beach. So I'm going to take off and go to the market, get some bananas for the day. So I have to do it each day because I'm traveling on my bike and I can only hold so many bananas. So every morning I go out and forage for bananas at the farmer's market. I just made it to the farmer's market, and there it is. Look at all that lovely produce. And I got the bananas that nobody else wants. I got this whole bag for $5, which is amazing because usually they charge $2 a pound here in Kona for bananas, which is crazy because they're like 69 cents a pound for organic bananas on the mainland. Anyways, so I get the ones that have blemishes on them, you know. So just to echo that Joni Mitchell song, give me the spots on apples, but save me the birds and the bees, right? So I ate half of that first bag already, so I decided just to go ahead and buy another bag, $5 worth of bananas. So that at least should keep me going for the whole day, huh? Maybe tomorrow too. And so I'm just cruising back along the Leahy Drive. Thought you might like to see what this neck of the woods looks like. This is the big tourist area in Kailua, Kona. You'll see the shops coming up here pretty soon. But isn't it nice? Everything's so green and lush. Warm. It's about 70 right now. It's about 15 minutes to 8. There's the bay out there. Beautiful swimming. Here's some more shops and restaurants and things. Of course, the restaurants are not vegan or vegetarian. They may have some vegan and vegetarian entrees. So it's a pretty mellow yellow morning today. It's kind of cloudy. It rained a little bit last night. And I'm going to make my way back to the health food store and see what I can do about the sweet fruit situation. On down, here's the big King Kamehameha Hotel right here at the start of Leahy Drive. It's like a kayaker on his way out. So this is one of my favorite swimming holes. I'll show you in a minute. Lots of kayaking and ocean sports activity. There's a look back at the church steeple and the coastline. There's an authentic Hawaiian settlement out there. Here it is, 10 o'clock in the morning. There's already lots of people out enjoying the water, this fabulous water, which is, God, I don't know. It's probably close to 65 degrees. You know, maybe even warmer than that. And it's just the beginning of spring. Anyways, here's all the kayaks, and so yeah, I just wanted to show a little piece of the Kona action. And I hope you got something out of this. My name is Trace Perot. If you liked the content, share it, like it, subscribe, hit the notification button. I'm still only putting videos out about twice a week because I am just wickedly busy. I've got so much stuff going on, it's crazy, and I don't like to wing. I'm kind of winging this video, although I did a little bit of research and whatnot, but I don't like to wing it. I like to, be right on point. So I'm contemplating cutting down the length of these videos to like a half hour, 15-20 minutes, and doing them quicker and that kind of thing. So anyways, I hope you got something out of this, and this is my channel 20 at 70, and I'll look forward to doing the next video with you.